whether they can get it done. I think if you'd have said to me with a 10-point, 12-point gap, I'd go Arsenal now, because I think they need that to get over the line. I think they need that little bit of a comfort. They've always sort of capitulated a little bit when there's been a bit of pressure there, or they've never been able to quite do it because of someone else's pressure or someone else is really close and around them. And it's starting to look again like that. It's starting to look like City. They got the credentials, they got the manager, they got the team, they got the squad. They're starting to get the belief. So I just don't know that pressure they're putting on the Man City.
I think they've got Villa coming up soon, haven't they? And then Liverpool, Arsenal.
Yeah.
And I think both matches are in January. I think so. I think I've looked at the fixtures. And if you're looking at Arsenal this season, they lost to Liverpool, they lost to Villa, they drew with Man City, and they drew with Chelsea. So when they're playing the teams in that top 3 or 4, they haven't done as well as they can. Now, when they play against the weaker sides, they're beating them. You know, they're picking up the points that way. Whether they can do that for the rest of the season, time will tell. But if you're going to be a team that's going to win the league, you're going to have to look at the teams that are around you, and you've got to be able to beat them. And Arsenal haven't done that so far. So the next month will tell us more about where Arsenal are.
The next month will, and the next month's transfer business could impact as well. How many sides across the table will go into the market to try and lift the squads? That's something to keep an eye on over the course of the next few weeks. Okay, let's get some more reaction to today's game here at Anfield now. We can hear from Arne Slot. He's speaking to our friends over at Sky Sports.
Arne, another victory and into the top 4. How do you feel after all of that?
Happy, because in football it's about results, and so many times this season our performances have been good without a result. Today, large part of the game I liked, but there were definitely also parts of the game I didn't like. And but the end product of it all, a win, is definitely what I like.
Football can so often be an interesting game like that, can't it? Because when you score 2 in 90 seconds or so, it then looks like maybe the third comes and the fourth comes, but obviously it's not always that easy.
No, that's true, but there are also positive things to take. So if you look at the amount of players we miss, I had to bring 2 players in that only trained 1 day. Cody Gakpo out for 3 weeks, trained 1 day, had to bring him in. Conor Bradley out for a week, trained once, had to bring him in. Had to bring 18-year-old in, Trenioni. So that tells you how many players we miss. And then still to win your games with, again, conceding a set piece. That is the positives, because the last 2 games we've conceded a set piece, and throughout the whole season that has led to us losing that game. But in the last 2 games we were able to win those both games, and that is the positives that we take from the last 2 games.
Another positive today, of course, the first Liverpool goal for Florian Wirtz. He seemed to be obviously very happy to score it, but there seemed to be great celebrations from the team now that he's got that first goal.
Yeah, I think the team has seen how much he did already for us, creating chances, being so close to a goal, and everybody that's into football knows if you don't score, what then is being said about you. And I think all the players know this as well. So for him to score his first goal is nice, but it's only a start. I think with his qualities, and he knows best, he will gonna score much more goals than only 1 for us. And but again, the focus is always on the result. The focus is always on who scores and who has the assist. But I think Florian did more than only scoring a goal today. He was involved in many of our moments where we created chances.
And just finally, great credit to everyone involved for the emotional tribute towards Diogo today. I know it's a difficult time, of course, for everybody concerned, but the 2 clubs came together particularly well. It seemed from the outside looking in incredibly touching, particularly in the 20th minute.
Yeah, but it's been touching so many times already. So I think our fans have shown the greatest respect every single game, every single moment towards him, his family. But not only our fans, also fans from other clubs. And today, again, we saw the same. So another special moment for us, but I think also for his wife and for his children.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
It is a bit of a cliche, but it has been a roller coaster in 2025, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows. I think what we'll pick out first, maybe, Jason, is a game which kind of underlined on the way to the title. There was a versatility at times from Arne Slot's side, when we went to the Etihad in February and sacrificed possession and were so clinical in attacking when we could and dealing with Manchester City. And it was a real key moment in underlining our title credentials.
Yeah, listen, there wasn't a great deal of change from a personnel point of view from when Arne come in. I think, we all wondered what the expectation was going to be. Wanted to see how things were going to plan out. He was left in a very healthy position. Only one player came in, Chiesa, and he just slightly tweaked things from a formation point of view, personnel, but he had plenty of strength and depth to put a real title challenge in, and he did that. Listen, he come through with flying colours. Listen, after we won the title, or after a few games towards the end of the season, it wasn't great, but we were over the line and the celebration started, and they showed real character to get over the line in different ways. Last minute winners you were seeing with Nunes, performances like you've just mentioned there, the Etihad, and it was just brilliant, wasn't it? It's just, we were on so much of a high. I remember being here for the title lift, the trophy lift. There was so much emotion poured out, wasn't it? It was just brilliant. It was just brilliant to be around the club.
I think there was almost sort of two hits at that particular thing, because when we clinched the title against Spurs, we got the first day of it, the stadium was one celebrating a game of drama, when we had to come back and take control of it. I think Spurs are perhaps the best team to play at that particular point, given how porous they were and the problems they were having. And we got this moment, and then we get it again when we get the trophy, as Jason's touched on.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back at 2025, the highs and the lows, as you put it, is quite right. And it's not only that, it's when you look at the personnel, when you've gone from one group of players to where we are now with the new players that have came in, the transformation has been quite incredible and very unusual. Because when you win the title, you don't really make that many changes. You don't let a lot of players go. You normally bring one or two in just to add to the squad. But it's been a dramatic change. It's only when I've seen it there that it actually brings it home to you how many's left and how many's come in. You think, wow, that's a dramatic change in the squad that he's got at the moment, and maybe that's just taken a little while for everyone to get attuned with what the manager wants week in, week out. But some fantastic times there. When this place, when it's full, players are playing at a high tempo, you're beating the opposition. Some of the performances they put in was outstanding last season as well.
And this was the key moment, the highlight of it all. And given we were robbed of this during COVID, when we won number 19, to get this for number 20 was even more special, wasn't it? We all felt it at the time. It was an outpouring of emotion. There were generations who'd not been able to witness this.
Listen, when we win things, we do it properly, don't we? And I think, there's added things thrown in there as well, the COVID situation. The fact that the way we done it, we'd lost the manager, which was a complete shock. I think that went right through the whole football club, the fans. It was that like, right, well, who are we going to get? And then it was the chase on, he's going to come, is it going to be Alonso? Is it going to be so-and-so? Is it? Then Arne Slot comes in, and it was like, right, can he keep up that good work? Because usually, when a manager leaves and a new manager comes in, it's because the football club's not doing very well. We were still at the top table when Arne Slot come in. So it was, can you carry it on? And imagine like walking into a football, fair play to him, walking in and going, I'm going to try and emulate what you've just done, but I'm going to try and do it my way. Okay, he didn't do it in his first season. He went with what he was left. But he was still very healthy. And like Ray's just used that word there, transition. If you looked at it from today's team to the one that finished the season last season, we're actually in transition. And I know you can't stand still in football. You can't. You've got to keep evolving. You've got to keep moving forward. You've got to keep changing, freshening up. But some will argue we might have done it too much this season, and we've ended up in transition rather than a slight tweak. I think a tweak might have helped us, but we haven't. We've gone and got 5 players who are actually in the team. So it's become more of a transition, and transition this day and age takes its time to settle down. This is the foundations of moving forward and challenging year on year on.
But as we saw, regardless of changing personnel, winning back-to-back league titles is difficult enough, and so few have done it over the course of the league, whether it was the Football League or the Premier League. Success in the league, frustration in the Cups. We had some dark moments across the course of the season. We had frustration at Wembley. We had Plymouth, which I'll gloss over because it was a horrible, horrible day. I was down there. In the Champions League, we lost to the eventual winners. And one thing maybe should pick out, we were given a bit of a schooling in Paris, but funny how football works. We still won that leg, but it was one of the best individual performances of the last year. Alisson Becker was sensational against PSG that night.
He was unbelievable. The saves that he made was quite incredible. And that's why he's the best keeper in the world. When you see moments like this and what he does, it's absolutely incredible. The agility, just the way that his wingspan, the way just moves his hand out and keeps. Look at that for